Well, let's talk about the Cartersville real estate market. So this is the May market update. So this is all the data coming out of April. And what we have right here in Cartersville is 236 listings, and that is up 43% from last year. That's a lot of increase. So if you're a seller, that means you have a lot more competition. And if you're a buyer, that means you have a lot more choices. Now, what do we have over all of Bartow County? So that would be all the way up from Adairsville, all the way down to even the part of Ackworth that's in Bartow County, including White and the Bartow County side of it, Rydell, Harley, all of those areas together, we have 404 active listings, and that's up 27%. So we see all these new listings out there. This competition is a little bit stronger. And really, that's a 9% increase from the month of March. And we expect to see that continue to climb a little bit as we move into May and June, and then it'll start leveling off as all the people who want to move this summer get their houses on the market. So if you're a buyer, this is going to be when you have the most choices. And if you're the seller, that means this is when you're going to have the most competition. So pricing, curb appeal, how the house looks on the inside, those are going to be really important. And those are the three that you control. And then, of course, marketing, keeping it in front of people. How are we going to do that? Open houses, all those kinds of things is what your real estate agent is going to focus on. So make sure you got both parts of that puzzle, because sometimes you want to concentrate on one side and not the other, and it takes both. Now, what is the median listing price? And that in Cartersville is $394,000, and in all of Bartow County, that's $398,500. So what we see with that is if you're below that, your house has got a good chance of selling a little bit faster. If you're above that, it's going to take longer. Now, where does that come from? Like, why is the median price in Bartow County running, we're just going to call it 394 to 398. We're just going to say right at 400,000. Well, that's because that's where most of the people can afford a house that are working and living in Bartow County. So it's kind of a good thing. I mean, I would say in years past, it's been about 325. So we kind of have seen it, that 400,000. A lot of that is coming from new construction. So with additional houses on the market, what is that doing to our days on market? It is up 15% from last year. And it's simply because we have more houses for sale, but I don't feel like we have more buyers. Because for a lot of the buyers, they're sitting out on the sidelines watching the interest rates, watching everything that's happening. So we've got more houses, probably the same amount of buyers as we had last year. So that's causing our days on market to be up 15% in Cartersville and 9% over all of Bartow County. So it's just taking a little bit longer. Now, that's not to say some houses sell quickly and some sell slower. Now, what determines that? Those same things. We've got that price, curb appeal, how it looks on the inside, marketing. But overall, if you really want your house to sell quicker, it's going to come down to this side of the equation more so than this side. So you want to look at, are we priced super competitively to sell, not to list? Because I talk to people all the time that are looking at their numbers and they're saying, well, the neighbor's house is listed for this. Why would you want me to be below that? It's not selling. And if you want to sell quickly, that is a key, is getting that price competitive with sold properties, not competitive with what else is listed. Now, the median sales price is $360,000 in Cartersville and $353,000 in all of Bartow. Now, that's a little bit of a disconnect from what we saw from the listing median price, because the median listing price is $394 to $395, but the houses that are selling are right around that 360 to 353 mark. So that shows us that it's very stable because we've not seen that change a whole lot. We're not seeing a whole lot of up and down over that. It's just stable. Now, how many units sold? So a unit is the house. So the units that have sold compared to last year are the same. It's very, very stable in Cartersville. And that's good for home values and equity and things like that. Now, overall of Bartow County, we've sold 9% more units than we did in March. So we're seeing that increase a little bit, but like it's just a little bit of an increase. Overall of Bartow County, interestingly enough, it was down 7%. Now, that kind of intrigues me a little bit because it makes me think, why are certain areas not getting as many people moving into them as the city of Cartersville? And we could debate that. We could look at what is coming into the area, like warehouses, data centers, townhomes, all those kind of things factor in to where people want to move in any given county. The other thing is we could look at what restaurants, shopping, all the retail, what's available per city comparatively, and then what do people want? But when we see that number being down, the units being down over all of Bartow County, it does mean that if you're not in Cartersville, you got to keep that in mind, that you could have a pool of buyers that are deciding not in these other areas based on different factors, and that's going to be fixed with pricing, condition, and things like that. So hopefully you got some nuggets out of this. And people always say, well, what about Gordon County? Well, it's very similar to what we see in Bartow County because it's just right there. It's the same thing. We've got the stability in home prices that's good, but it's just a slow, I've been calling it a sludge. It just takes a long time to get a house sold if you're not under or right at that median sales price of $360. And for a lot of you, you're not, and you're feeling this frustration, and we feel it too because it's a great house. We know that, but we got to have the buyers coming here to buy it. So if you have questions, comments, whatever, I'd love to hear them in the comments. You can always call me and let's talk about it.